Call the meeting to order. Start with roll call.
Commissioner Allen.
Present.
Commissioner Norwood.
Here.
Commissioner Siragusa.
Here.
Commissioner Roberts. Here. Commissioner Stallings.
Here.
Commissioner Orr.
Here.
And Mayor Pankinen.
Here. Item 2, at the Commissioner's request, discuss any item of concern on the regular session agenda.
I'd like to ask a question. On the claims list in Fund 30, which would be street and alley, it's got an item for pavement replacement, and I don't want to say the number out loud. Is that for, why is it called replacement, or does that have to do with out at the Chestnut site?
Well, it depends on what it is. Who's the vendor? That'll help me figure out.
JMB Concrete, and it's for several $100,000.
Yeah, they have a concrete repair program, and they're also doing the street, right, Morale?
That's a Maple Street.
Maple Street.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
From 10 to 16.
A lot of concrete.
Yeah, well, I mean, it jumps right out, so it must be a tremendous amount of concrete.
It is.
If you drive down that street, it's worth every penny.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? I have one more question that I'd like to bring up, is so on the consent items, it's, we're buying a bunch of vehicles, which we need to do, but there's 3 different sets of that, and some of them we didn't get at the 2022 price, so we're having to get 2023. Can somebody tell me what vehicles that involves?
Yeah, I think there's about 12 pickups.
Okay.
They're pickups, and I'm not sure they're all the same or not. I know Aaron will be here at the regular meeting and better be able to answer for me. But there's 12, and the way we've broken it down, I think 5 of them were actually already ordered on a, I'm going to say this year's contract, but Ford and then, or the dealership through Ford said they can't fulfill it, or they're not going to fulfill those state contract things, so we're having to extend, I guess, those 5 into 23, and then I think there's, what does that leave, 7 new ones? So,
I had opened the attachments previously on Saturday or whatnot, and it kind of went through a little bit of that, but I couldn't open the attachments on this agenda that came out on Monday. So
Okay.
that's where I was like, no, I knew it was for different vehicles, and the company changed names, who we ordered them from, and so
can you pull those items up, Dana, on the?
I got them right here. Because I had the same question that you did as to why we jumped 64,000 positive. Apparently, we had a 22 model Ford F-250 4x4 standard crew cab, a second standard crew cab, and F-350 crew cab with a service bed. The 2022 prices was 30,800, 35,800, and 33,800, which they all bumped up to 50. The 2 top ones bumped up to 53,714, and the last one was 57,750. And it does say in here about the contract. That's why I was like, when the company changed names and everything else, did this invoice kind of go with the company that left out, or did this, I mean,
Yeah, it's
how
what-
do we incur something that seems like a deal on their end?
Well, and it's Ford can't or won't fulfill the contract, so we're feeling the impacts of inflation is exactly what it
and
is.
supply line issues.
And
is
supply
what I
line
figured
issues.
that got us.
This is a great example of how the city's directly impacted, and this is how we have to deal with vehicles. We typically buy all our vehicles off the state contract. The state through OMES bids these things through the various Fords and Chevys, and typically we have Fords in the fleet, so we buy off the state contract, and we put orders in, and then we find out later, you know, when they're going to deliver them, when they're going to fulfill them, and so our fleet manager, Keith Brown, got notified that they weren't going to be able to fulfill them, and that unless we got it on this agenda, I think by, well, it turns out to be this agenda, because I think we have till November 8th or something to get the order in, or we won't be getting trucks next year. So it's not only the price increase, it's the shortages, it's the there's less trucks.
And I didn't have any objection to having new vehicles. Of course, we need those, but it just,
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Thank
is,
you.
and I too, again, Erin's up there working with the auditors, and she asked me if I needed to have her at their study session. Of course, I said no. And I need her. She'll be here at the regular meeting, and we should ask those questions.
I hadn't seen
Make
her
sure.
in there.
I'm satisfied.
I am too now, seeing, that it was the government side of it that said, because this is a government contract that Ford builds for.
Right.
And if they don't have the supply, they don't have the supply. And it wasn't a dealership mess up. It was the federal government not having the supply for us
Right.
through the Ford dealership.
And I'm sure the prices on those vehicles, while they're much above what they were in the last contract, are still well below MSRP. They're still negotiated
Yeah.
rate.
Yeah, each vehicle is 20,000 less than the going rate for said same vehicle.
Yeah.
You go look on it, now, I'm not familiar because I live closer to the Jansen dealership, but I see on their vehicles, and I think some of those are used, $80,000. Can you imagine paying $80,000 for a pickup truck? So they're very expensive, and, but we do get a better deal because it's through the volume contracting through the state, but we're also at the mercy of them fulfilling the orders, and
Well,
so this one goes back to Ford.
I know somebody locally that has a fleet program and everything else, and the truck that he has as the CEO, his truck was $90,000, and through his fleet, he got it for 70. So,
Yeah.
and we're getting substantially lower than that.
Okay. Is everybody's questions answered?
More.
Do we?
Oh, I was just going to ask on the same subject, so if we have a state contract, there's no need to send out bids for those vehicles? Would we be, has anybody ever explored that possibility?
Yeah, that's correct. We can bid vehicles if we want to. Typically, if the state offers through an existing contract something that meets our needs, we're going to go that route because it's simpler and faster. It meets the requirements of our purchasing procedures and state law because it's already been bid through the Office of Management Enterprise Services for the state. So many things like vehicles, typically vehicles, we go through the state contract. There's a variety of other things sometimes that are on state contract. We can also use cooperatives. You'll see there's an item on there tonight about lighting at Kellett. And we're using what's called a cooperative purchasing agreement.
Thanks. Okay. If everybody's questions are answered, we can leave them on consent agenda unless you think they need to be moved so we can discuss further.
nope, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Okay. Seeing none, we will move on to, yep. Oh.
Hey, I'm in a meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry. Item 3, study items. Item 3.1, engineering update. Raleigh.
Good evening, good evening, Mayor. This it's not even a presentation. It's like about communication with the public. Currently, we have several projects going on, and like we are trying to communicate where those projects are, how to get to this location. So it is on our website under road closures. So under road closures location, we have all these projects. They have identified based on what kind of project it is. We can see layers, current construction projects. And,
What Morales is showing you tonight is we're making an effort, as he said, to communicate with the public better. And obviously with you too as the governing body, but we've had some stuff on the website before. This is an improvement through GIS that he's going to show you that's going to list where our current projects are. And at some point, I think we can show projects that have been completed and various other things. So I'm excited about this. Morales, so you're going to take us
Yeah.
further through it.
they are color coded based on this like type of the projects. We can go into, like, for example, this is a recent sanitary sewer project. It's a privately funded project. And what is the type of the project? When is the construction starts? What is the timeline? So, and because time to time people ask, like, why are you closing the street? So if, for example, right here, this street, like this is Oklahoma, is being closed because of the bridge construction. So that's going to give who is the contractor, timeline on the construction, when is the notice to proceed. So this is what the cost of, we are planning to add the cost of the construction too. So just give add more information sort of for the public communication. That's basically.
It also gives us an opportunity, if you have any questions
Right.
about any projects that are going on, I know Morale can answer them.
Yep. Any particular projects? Yeah.
We're doing a lot of good stuff
Yeah.
all over town. I was just talking to somebody, might have been you, Commissioner Roberts, about all the good things we're doing on the east side of town that maybe sometimes get lost. And so with this mapping system, and is this live yet,
Yep,
Morale?
it is live.
It's live.
It is on
so-
our website, yeah.
So anybody that goes out there and looks right now can start looking at that. So we'll put some communications out there about, hey, you want to look at upcoming projects or current projects,
Yeah.
take a look. And we brainstormed some other stuff. I don't remember what it was now, but I think over time, there's an ability to improve this a lot, to offer graphical information to folks.
Yep.
Someone asked me this afternoon about Garland north of Willow. I guess has been impacted by the pipeline probably.
Pipeline came in through there.
Is it going to be, is that the way it's going to stay, or is it going to get improved more, or?
I think the contractor has several passes need to go through. So he just finished the pipeline installation. He needs to go back and install the apparatus. Then he needs to do the testing. So there are 2 more rounds before we do any more road improvements.
Okay, but it will be improved eventually?
Yes.
Okay.
It was a dirt road to start with, though, right?
Garland north of Willow is a gravel road now, I
Yes,
think.
yes.
So it'll still be a gravel
Gravel road.
road. But also, Commissioner Saragusa had mentioned to me, is it west of Willow to Wheat Ridge?
Garland
to Wheat Ridge.
On Willow itself.
Yeah,
It's that one's probably wasn't the best road to begin with, and that was hardball. I don't know if it was chip and seal or something from the past,
chip and
but
seal, yeah.
we're going to go out and pothole that here later this week. But we may need to look to see if that one is a
Yeah.
candidate.
Sounds like, if you guys been out there, it sounds like somebody called me and said they put gravel in those big holes out there.
On Willow, between
Yeah, on Willow,
Garland and Wheat
between
Ridge.
Garland and Wheat Ridge.
They may have.
Okay. Somebody told me that as people are driving over it, all the gravel's coming out and the potholes are back. So I don't know, I think it sounds like the big heavy machinery from the water pipeline may be tearing that road up a little bit.
it is, but they're still working on it, so they can't fix it right now.
Maybe after they're all done out there, maybe we can look at
Yeah.
repaving it or something.
Yeah, I think we'll
They're trying
probably.
to, I think they're trying to put Band-Aids on right now, and then they'll do the real fix later. But, yeah,
That'll
I've heard a lot of
definitely
it,
be
too.
one that we'll want to look at, Morale. And I know that Garney, that road wasn't in the greatest shape before, so whatever our standard is that we hold Garney to, I know they'll fix, but it won't be like it's a brand-new asphalt road. We'll have to take action if we want that to happen.
Okay.
I do have a question. It's probably not, so I know we're working on Chestnut right now, and the street north of that, Ash, has been a detour road, and it is disastrous now because of the detouring on it.
I don't think it's currently on our list, but we can take a look at it. Unfortunately, this is a side effect that happens to us many times, so we probably do need to look at the impact of that road. If it's asphalt, our asphalt program
It is.
is something that can be used to address it. In fact, I think they'll be laying asphalt tomorrow, I think, somewhere on, 7th, and I can't think of the east-west street where they'll be at, but we'll take a look at that and see. It may already be on our current asphalt one-year list, because we have a list about this long. If Ash is not on that, we can take a look at adding it.
Okay.
Thank you.
One other thing that I wanted just to add to this, on your road closures and everything else on big projects like we did on Maple and everything, one of the things that came up from a constituent was when we actually close a section of roadway, we got elderly people that live in that roadway area. What about their trash? A lot of them have a hard time getting it down to the end of the driveway, let alone down the street to turn around and have it picked up. Can we look into implementing something that, you know, we give them cards at the door, tell them if they need help, we can get it down for them during the pickup? I think that would alleviate a lot of issues.
We'll certainly look into, yeah. We'll talk to David Hunter and see.
Yeah, you know, that's good. Some of us, we don't think of that from time to time. And
And that's why I said when it was suggested, I never thought about it myself until it said it, and I was like, it's a good idea. I think we need to figure something like that out.
I'm sure we can. I know, Scott, you used to lead that department. How did you handle when we had,
Yeah, good communication can solve a lot of problems. And so we would usually have a few crew workers that would go before the trucks got there and pull the carts out where the trucks could get onto them. And that's how we'd solve that problem.
why don't we do this? If it sounds like maybe, Morale, your office, and David, if you guys on these projects, thank you, I could just make sure that we still are able to provide the vital services and
Yeah. I've actually followed the trash truck, not on purpose, because I happen to be going the same direction. But I've seen them actually stop in front of people's houses where I've seen ramps that were going to the house. Get out of the truck, go up, get the trash, bring it back, do it, and bring it back up. And it's not because I was there or they knew who I was, it was because that's what they do. So, do they do it every time? Maybe not. If they're a half hour behind schedule, is it different than if they're ahead of schedule? Maybe.
Mayor, we actually have a program for that.
Do they?
At zero cost. So people that have a disability that aren't able to do that, we have a way to know
Good.
which houses those are, and
So
that
they're
driver
flagged.
will stop every week and do that at zero cost to the citizen.
That's great.
Still the normal
Yeah.
trash fee that everyone else pays, but no additional charge.
Mm-hmm.
Just one thing I'd like to add too is typically in those situations, either the contractor or the inspector gets notified, and we try to we do something, like we just don't say too bad.
Yeah, I understand that, but I was just like, it was-
Usually people are quick to communicate that. You block people's parking and their trash, and they
Oh, yes.
they let us know. So I just wanted to, it's happened in the past, it's happened on Maple a couple of times, so.
yeah, and that's like I said, it was just one of those things. I was like, that'd be a good idea to put a card and say, hey, contact this number. We'll take care of your trash for you. Don't worry about it.
Absolutely, yeah. And a lot of times, you know, the contractors are good guys. You know, if they request it, sometimes they just do it on their own, and I never hear about it. So unless I
It's like I said,
specifically ask.
something before we close down that section of roadway. Say, hey, we're planning a couple of weeks. We're going to be doing this. If you need help with your trash, call this number. We'll make sure we take care of it.
But Maple is beautiful.
Oh,
It's
it's
got a nice
gorgeous.
sidewalk all the way. It makes all of the houses look better on Maple. So what a great improvement.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, the homeowners are making their houses because of the street. It's kind of a snowball effect going on over there on East Maple, and you guys doing a fantastic job there.
Okay.
Morale, does this has the engineering projects, but right now it probably doesn't have the concrete repair jobs that Public Works is contracting, does it, or?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it does, okay.
Like we discussed, cartograph and the GIS, we are
Okay.
working on the collaboration between those two. As soon as that's been done, so you will see all the asphalt projects and also the concrete repair projects in the same website, so.
That will be fantastic for the public. It'll also be fantastic for updates to the council, because we are doing, everywhere you look, there's concrete repairs that have been made on our program that's been going for about 4 years. That's right, Faith, you manage all that, working on that. I know right now we're doing a couple cul-de-sacs over in Garland Park. And so we finished a couple, I think, recently in La Mesa, which are wonderful. Now, unfortunately, the asphalt streets that connect with them aren't in the best of shape, but they're on the asphalt list to get fixed this year and to get overlaid. So we're really trying to focus on that. And we did Maple, and I think didn't we do Birch? Do Birch Street over there, too?
Yeah, it's in Birch too, right?
And it's done, right?
Birch in construction, so.
We've got 16th to 17th is completed, and I believe they're working on 17th to 18th currently. Is that right, Morale?
So anyway, lots of great stuff going. So this update, we've specifically wanted to have it broad enough that if you had questions about engineering projects, we could try to answer them tonight too, so.
Okay.
Thank you, Marley.
I don't have anything right there, but I appreciate this, and I think the public will appreciate it as well. I'd like to go a step further, maybe get with Communication Department and do a segment on that.
You bet.
Maybe the newspaper would be interested also in publishing, hey, if you want to find out what the route, what the condition of roads are, or what the, what the status of each road is that you're going by, here's how to do it. I don't know, but I think this is a great tool that a lot of people are going to like. We just need to go one step further to get it out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I know Scott will get with Derek, and then also we probably owe you an update here pretty soon, maybe the next meeting or so, on the asphalt program and the concrete program, because I want to get what we're doing the rest of this year out there too, and ultimately the rest of our plan. That will be great for the people that live on those streets that see their street listed, and then it will also get us plenty of feedback about the streets that we missed that should be on there, should be in the plan somewhere soon, so.
And I know you and I have spoken, this is great. I still think we need to take it another step forward of being proactive and letting citizens know. You had mentioned the electronic street signs, which I think are great. Honestly, we think we need more of those. I think that those can be utilized not just for projects, but also for events and things that we have going around the city. I think being proactive and letting people know about what's going to be coming gives them just a little bit of a heads up. Will help them.
I think that's fantastic. I think we have 2 signs right now.
Yep, 2 signs.
And I'm not sure where they're deployed right now, but unfortunately, we didn't have it deployed on 42nd Street today for a scheduled water line repair that did go out through the press releases and websites that nobody really looks at, but those signs are fantastic. I agree with you. So I don't know how much they cost, but we'll look at getting some more, because it'd be nice to put that up everywhere. And we've also visited Morale about putting signs up about the project itself. Maybe the digital sign can help with that too. So, because we also want to do a better job communicating with the public what the project is, how much it costs, maybe the expected completion time. We do that on projects that have requirements through grants, like the Leona Mitchell project. There's a big sign over there. And I think Commissioner Norwood, you might have mentioned that to me too. And
Yes,
it's
sir.
a great idea. It's part of when you let the people know what we're doing, and then
When we closed the road Willow, when we were doing the intersection, having those signs were wonderful because I take that road to take my daughter to school, so it was nice to have a heads up. I may need to take a detour for a couple of weeks, so.
They, when we authorized the replacement of old billboards with the digital billboards, the digital billboard companies told us that they would provide us space on the billboards. They rotate.
Oh.
So we could add
Public service
It's
messages
really nice.
if we decided to, particularly emergency messages, but road conditions, that sort of thing.
I would like to just remind all of our citizens, I feel like I have to say it. Everybody has one of these. We have this amazing app called SeeClick Fix, that if you sign up for it, every water outage, every road closure, you get a notification. So almost everyone has this tool in their pocket. So go to the app store and download SeeClick Fix.
That's right.
And you'll be informed. All right, commercial over.
All right. Any other questions? Artie?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gerald,
Yes.
do Scott and Whitney and Keith have the GIS viewer that we got from you long ago? I didn't know if do you guys have that on your computers? Okay. All right. It's a handy tool.
it's outstanding. We use it.
Yep.
I use it every day, so I can imagine
Yeah.
the engineers, the power users really use it, so.
Yep. Okay. Item 3.2, discuss proposed changes to airport fee schedule ordinance. All right, Keston, you up?
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. So this ordinance will clean up a little bit of the code about the airport, as well as add in a airport ramp fee. So cleaning up, it gets rid of gasoline storage charges, because we don't allow storage of gasoline or aviation fuels in our hangars anyways. Also gets rid of a fuel flowage fee. It's a fee that is typically charged at airports for FBOs, which is places that sell aviation fuels. That's a fee usually added on top of the fuel that the FBO sells if the FBO is not owned and operated by the airport itself. Since we operate the only FBO out at the airport, we obviously don't charge ourselves a fuel flowage fee, so we're getting rid of that. And then the main addition is a airport ramp fee. This will be charged towards jets, only jets, not the small piston aircraft that land at Woodring, use our facilities, whether that be coffee, ice, crew cars, anything like that, and then do not buy fuel. So we have to go out and park them. We give them the amenities that we offer at the airport, and then they take off, and we don't see any profit for that type of thing. So we have an expense that's related to them, and then we realize no profit. So this would fix that. If they land and use our facilities, they have to buy either a minimum of 75 gallons of gas or pay a $100 ramp fee.
Has the Aviation Advisory Board blessed this?
Yes, this was at their recommendation, actually. So at the last Aviation Advisory Board meeting, they brought this forward for discussion and recommended the addition of these to the airport.
Colonel, you're probably going to ask the question. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, my question, obviously, we almost always buy fuel from you, but does this apply to military aircraft as well?
No, it would not. We have a military fuel contract, and so it's very specific on what we can and cannot charge the military, and we cannot charge fees.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Keston, who's the chairman of the advisory committee as it stands?
That would be Ken Gertie is the chairman.
Oh, perfect. Laura's husband.
Yes.
Yes, that's great.
I never know, he's always at the airport.
Yes.
The only question I have, I mean, a lot of people just fly to some place to eat lunch or breakfast or whatever. I don't know how, you know, a $10 lunch is going to cost $110 now.
Yes.
You know, that's out of my wheelhouse. I trust your judgment. I would imagine that you're going to watch this, monitor it. And I don't know that we necessarily need to be beholding of the restaurant, but I do know that I've gone to Oklahoma City to places to eat at airports in Ponca City, and everybody's done those kind of things. So it's the only glaring thing that I see out of it.
And to help alleviate that issue, this is for jet aircraft only. So any of the small, 172 little small piston planes that typically do go out for those lunch and, weekend type meals, this will not affect them at all. They do not have to buy fuel.
I didn't catch that.
I was going to ask you, how many jets have we had, private jets, have we had that flew in for our weekends, our third Saturdays?
I can't think of, since the 5 years that I've been at the airport, maybe I've seen 2. So it's pretty rare. Usually if we get a jet that flies to our airport and does not buy fuel, they're coming here anyways for business. So they're not just stopping to use the restroom or go to the restaurant. They're stopping here because they're going into the city anyways. So I don't think this addition of the fee will scare off any customers, because those who stop here are typically doing so for fuel.
All right. Okay. Good.
Thank you very much.
No other questions? Thank you. Item 3.3, recognize the city's United Way Chili Cook-Off Team.
Yeah, I think, Faith, aren't you going to give us a United Way update too, just briefly? But yes, why don't you do that, and then we'll introduce the team and our award-winning cook, Pedro Perez there.
Yeah, we finished out our year with the cook-off. We did win our top dollar chili this year, so that should be
the
in
whole
the
city?
paper.
Us?
Yes,
City of
we
Enid was
did.
#1.
We did.
#1 in the whole
By a
city.
lot.
44 entries or something.
Yeah, by quite a bit.
Apparently you need these more.
So yes, very excited about that. It was a good time. A lot of people came out and supported us, and it was a good year. And Pedro made great chili, so couldn't have done it without him.
All right, go ahead and introduce your team if they're here. This is Pedro.
Pedro's our winning chili for the city, and
Yeah.
then this is Karen. She's our event coordinator, and then Kelly, who's Everett's assistant, and then Jody is Gerald's assistant, and Amy's not here, but she's our environmentalist. She's also on our committee.
And Kim, did you already say Kim Haley?
Oh, and Kim. She helped some, so She was very
Fantastic.
busy with the gym, so,
Yes.
you know,
and
she's a very
Kim's
busy
gonna update
woman.
us on the haunted gym, but hey, Pedro, I really appreciate it. I know these are all fine employees of the city, and this is all extracurricular stuff. But these employees and the folks that donated that work here at the various events are why we ended up being the top dollar chili out of the whole city. All these big corporations and all these places, we are number one. And that's the generosity, and these are the folks that made things happen with the events. So I thank you. Thank you for coming. I forgot to mention if you had leftovers, bring them, because then we could feed these guys the leftovers, but they'll just have to go to the chili cook-off next year.
Well, I know a lot of us commissioners kind of were working during that chili cook-off and
You were there.
everything else, and we couldn't make it down there and everything. I'm a little bit disappointed that Gerald didn't have you make us a bunch so we can survive that top award. That is,
You know, we might have to just make a special badge. Maybe I'll have to get with you.
our next commission meeting is in 2 weeks, and that would be greatly up to.
That's a good point.
Plenty of time to get some ghost peppers to fix you up.
Yes, we could fire it up. I will say it was good. It had a great flavor.
No executive.
It was just right. I told Dan Scheidel, who I think is going to be here at 6:30 to do the prayer, that I know what happened. So next year, Faith, make sure that we're on the westernmost aisle, because I think the judges didn't make it all the way around, and I think they didn't make it all the way around to the booth, and I think that's what happened. But you can't deny the money count when the money came in at $5,000 or whatever it was. So it is fantastic. I hope some of you got the chance, or all of you. Mayor, I saw you in Facebook
yeah.
photos.
Oh, yeah. I was trying to make sure my wife got to taste some.
Yes. And I only saw her tasting one. There was like 45 entries or something. So. Anyway, it's fun, and the employees have been doing this for many years, and it's a great organization, and I'm pleased. Thank you, guys, for your extra efforts. Thank
Great
you.
job. Appreciate it. All right. Item 3.4, discuss haunted gym event. Yeah, here we go.
Now, this event's already occurred, and it's a wonderful event. It takes some preparation time, but Kim, you're a driving force behind this.
Well, there's several.
Yes, and I should have made it because this is phenomenal. I looked through these pictures, and I didn't go to any other haunted houses either, but I can't imagine that there's any better than what the city offered for free for 2 nights just here recently.
Yeah, this is one that we added a few new features. There's 3 in there. We have the 12-foot tall mummy, the 15-foot tall phantom, and then we have 2 city employees.
That was Larissa, and who was the other one?
Dan, he was in the casket.
That was him?
And then we did a haunted playground with a teacher. He was our killer teacher.
The killer teacher. Hopefully Dr. Floyd's not watching.
And then we had a haunted factory. This one was 2 rooms long, and we had 6 animatronics in it. And then we had the flickering lights. And then we had a conveyor belt with the pumpkins that moved. And then we had the spider room with mummy hands, and this is Miss Terry in the library.
Oh, that's Terry?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then we had our clown room with the killer clown. And this is another city employee. This is Jody. Yes. That helped us. Our favorite room of all was the doll room.
I heard it was the creepy doll room.
It is the creepy doll room. And those are 2 volunteers that we have that came in. And then this is our dinner time room. This is Karen and Faith, where they enjoy their little pet.
Scott, was that you? Were you the pet there in that one? You're not that flexible, so.
And then we had a skeleton, we had conversation time. So we had 4 different conversation pieces, and Shay was our skeleton in this one. And then we had Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger.
Hopefully they've gone away until next Halloween now.
No, he showed up at the chili cook-off.
Oh, he did? No casualties. Wow, it's a miracle.
And then we had a haunted forest. And then we had our voodoo room. And we had poppers in this one with a few fog machines. And then we had our junkyard and our werewolves. And then the end of the evening was our witches' room. Our pumpkin king, who we had sitting outside, who if you honestly did not know, he just sat there for the longest time before he moved. And then we had our tour guides, the Sanderson sisters. And then these were some of the people that stood in line that dressed up to join us. So on Friday night, we had 377 people come through, which was a
Wow.
little down from previous years. And then on Thursday night, we had 150.
Wow.
So
We've been doing this event, is this the third or fourth year? It's been longer than that.
this is 5 years.
5 years. It's fantastic. Again, that's extra stuff for city employees and volunteers that
And
put in the
volunteers.
time to offer in the gym that we have, something else to do in the city of Enid, and you guys did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
So typically there's long lines all night, and I think you went from 6 to 9. So I'm sure you had to just finally shut down at some point because,
Well, we competed with the football game with it being seniors night.
Okay.
We couldn't beat fireworks.
oh well, folks missed out. But again, thanks to everybody from the city, and I hope everybody had a good time.
We had a great time. I think they had more of a fun time than I did.
Yeah. Good job. Appreciate it. All right. Item 3.5, update on beautification efforts in Enid.
Yeah, I just want to give you guys an update. You have a spreadsheet. We've been continuing. This will be a continuing work in progress, but you can see we've been up and down 412 and Van Buren. I think for the most part, we've gotten most of the loose curbs, and we'll try to stay on that. In fact, I didn't bring my prop, but I've got in my office a couple pieces of broken curb because they make very good paperweights, and they're also a very good reminder about, man, you can't have anything nice, Morale. We make a curb and something tears it up. So, so yes, there are lots of broken curbs, but we picked up most of the pieces. We're working right down here. You've probably seen Boggy Creek. We're working on cleaning that up, and they're actually doing some work there to make it more maintainable in the future. So that's going to be cleaned up really nice. We're still working on working with property owners and working on edging curbs. We've already been up and down those corridors fixing the signs. You know, we have a lot of signs, and everywhere you go, a lot of these signs don't stay straight and true very long. They don't even have to be hit. They just anyway. We've made sure all the paint markings are good on the corridors and in the downtown area, and we've worked on the park. So we still have work to do, but I just want to let you know that we're making progress, and I hope you've seen some of that. We're going to be making more progress in the downtown area. As you all know, the Christmas tree is coming on November 11th, right? And so we've got some cleanup left to do up in that area, and I know just today Don Rose was coordinating with Scott and Everett about some things down there. So some more stuff coming on that, but that's really just kind of a brief update. But if there's something glaring or anything that you think we need to add to the list, let me know. We'll put it on the list and keep working it. This will be an ongoing effort into the new year as we try to, and again, this focus is really on the corridors, but over time we can probably branch out to other areas.
Good. And thanks, Scott. I think you were the one that brought this up to start with, the appearance at the corridors there. So things are working. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Seeing nothing else, we're going to be adjourned, and we'll reconvene at
6:30?
6:30. We got a long time. All right.